Ooh, we got a State of the Galaxy for February right now. State of the Galaxies are always sort of cool just to see what they are intending on doing. It would be nice if all of a sudden there was some huge update about free to play and stuff, but you know that's not the case. Oh well, let's see what they got to say. Hey guys, we are charging into this year with more characters, ships, and the new Inquisitorius faction. Are they saying this is their plans or what they've done? Because ships so far has only been one. But if that plural is on purpose, meaning a lot more to come, that can be cool, because ships is kind of a very boring, pointless, stupid faction right now. So, our team has put together an ambitious plan for 2022 that seeks to keep the game exciting for many more years. As long as you pay us, otherwise it sucks if you're a F2P player. Anyways... We'll have more to share about some of the larger changes coming this year and future updates, but in this month's State of the Galaxy... Okay, shouldn't you just have your updates now? This is what the whole point of the State of the Galaxy is. Why would you make a new... What? Make another post? In the future about future updates. Why? Just do it now. Anyway, I want to give you an update on what's coming in the near future for Galaxy Heroes, discuss the current meta, and the team's goals for shaping the meta over the future. Conquest 13, which sucks still, is probably the worst it's ever been because they have ridiculous bosses for the last two stages, sectors, whatever you want to call them. And they have dumb, like mini mission things to meet, like, you know, the first boss in Sector 1, it says have and the team surviving. Like, first off, who's even worked on him? I've worked on him as a doofus, just as a joke, but most people haven't worked on him, and now you're gonna have him in your team? That's so stupid. But anyway, since they want to brag about their crappy game mode, we want to provide an update on where the Conquest characters are moving to. As always, there are a ton of things to cover, so let's dive in. Upcoming units and themes. As we move on from our Legends characters in celebration of Lucasfilm's 50th anniversary, we have another thrilling group of characters to explore, the Inquisitors, and they are cool. If you have played Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, I haven't, I don't have those kind of systems, I only have a Switch. Or watched Star Wars Rebels, I have. Then you may be familiar with the elite group of Force-sensitive agents tasked by Darth Vader to hunt down any remaining Jedi after the fall of the Galactic Republic. I am. Ninth Sister just came out. They're already throwing her up in here. A few weeks ago, we introduced the first member of this new faction, Second Sister. The Ninth Sister will be the second member to fill out the squad, and will be available via Marquee this week. This massive assassin, massive, no pun, I mean, no hyperbole there, she is pretty big, works as the Inquisitor's tank, the Inquisitor squad's tank. She can take a ton of punishment and keeps enemy attacks focused on herself instead of her Inquisitorious allies. Hear more about the character and from our designers in the Developer Insights Ninth Sister, which I do have a video of, so you can check me out instead of reading their article. I'll just read it to you. We will continue to explore more Inquisitor characters as we fill out the squad in the future, but we are also introducing the Inquisitorius to fleet battles with the new Tie-In Interceptor prototype. Piloted by Second Sister, the Tie-In Interceptor prototype is a powerful reinforcement for Empire fleets. Its unique prototype design reduces Allied capital ships' cooldowns when in reinforcements, and the Allied capital ship gains turn meter when the TIE Interceptor scores a critical hit. As a reminder, it's right there. A mixture of Kylo's ship and Vader's, basically, is what it looks like. There are 2 more ships coming to Galaxy of Heroes via Galactic Chase events that will support existing fleets with faction-specific tanks. Galactic Chase? What's that? I feel like I should know what that is. I don't know. With the introduction of the Executor, we gave the Houndstooth a permanent home, which means that some fleets are in need of a dedicated tank. This is particularly important with the emphasis on Grand Arena Championships, where multiple fleets are needed. Ooh, look at this. What is it supposed to be? Oh, is that the TIE Interceptor? It's landed? Huh. Looks cooler when it's on the ground than when it's flying. No, that's not it, because this has a ball in the middle. This doesn't have a ball. What is this then? I don't know. The First Order fleet packs some incredible firepower, but lacks a tank to protect it from. Oh my word! Why can't I read? But lacks a tank to protect its more fragile damage dealers. The First Order TIE Echelon shores up this fleet with a tough ship that applies stealth to allied First Order ships, so it can take the hard hits for the team. You know, they're talking about the First Order squad, but like it's not even a full squad. There's only 4. So then you got to put nonsense in for the other 3 spots. So now you get a 5th ship coming, which is good, but you still have 2 slots open. You got to come up with more to fill that up. Is that what this is? No, this is Resistance. Obviously the X-Wing. Resistance fleets could also use a dedicated tank, and the MG-100 Star Fortress SF-17, because the name being even more ridiculous, provides consistent taunt to soak up damage from the enemy. This ship also packs a punch if it can finish its bombing run to devastate the enemy. Oh, this is the thing that Rose Tico's sister was on. Conquest update. Conquest 13 began last week and brings a number of new data discs, modifiers, and encounters to the event. The next 3 conquests will focus on rewarding blueprints for the new tie-in interceptor prototype that we announced last week. I totally forgot about that the tie-in interceptor was part of Conquest. Which means Boba Fett Scion of Jango will move to where Maul currently is rewarded. Maul moves to where Commander Ahsoka Tano shards were available, and Cat moves to where Razor Crest blueprints were available. Last but certainly not least, Razor Crest will remain available where it currently is. It will be moving to its farm location sometime around the launch of Conquest 14. We will have more to share on this in a future update. Well, that's good. I guess that these characters move somewhere more normal to farm afterwards. What's the meta with you? There has been a bunch of great discussion in the community around balance and speculation about potential changes to units in the game. While there will always be these kinds of questions and concerns, our goal is to be as transparent as possible on when and why we make these changes. To that end, we want to provide some broader understanding on when and why we intervene to change characters that are significantly not performing as expected. Of course, changing a character after launch is something we want to avoid at all costs and is always the last resort, but sometimes becomes necessary. To get everyone on the same page, let's begin with how all the different types of units fit together and lay out the current hierarchy of power. To be clear, this certainly does not hold universally true for all units, but is a rough rubric we can use to discuss this topic in more detail. There are many exceptions to the rules, in the name of fun and interesting gameplay, that exist, but overall this is a good snapshot of how we approach power. Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes Power Tiers. Marquee and Galactic Chase characters, example Second Sister Iden Versio. Journey Guide Conquest units. Jedi Knight Revan, Commander Luke Skywalker, Galactic Legends, SLKR, Rey, Galactic Legends with Conquest counterpart, Jedi Master Kenobi with Cat. So what, those are the rankings, like weakest to strongest? This list assumes squad compositions are highly synergetic and have comparable mods. This may not always be the case in practice, and if so, is not a balance issue. For example, a Galactic Legend with weak mods and in a non-ideal squad might potentially be challenged by a well-modded and highly synergetic squad from the lower tiers. Yep. Wait! Why is there no mention of Omicron units in the above list? Oh, I don't know, maybe because Omicrons A, don't actually do anything to power ratings, and B, it's only active in specific areas. It's not a non-stop all the time thing. But what do they say? Omicrons boost the power of a unit. Adding an Omicron will move a unit up around a tier on the scale above, which means their final power varies based on the type of character. So where do they sit on the power scale? What are they talking about? It doesn't boost the power at all. It stays the same. If you were at 20,000 power, you put the Omicron on, they're still at 20,000. And the other thing that happens is if they had a Zeta and the Omicron goes over that, the Zeta goes away until you put the Omicron on. Then it comes back. I mean, it doesn't go away per se, like, functionally, but, like, you know, the little icon on the badge, that goes away. So what are they talking about here? Oh, that's weird. Anyways, so where do they sit on the power scale? Marquee units with Omicrons get lifted up to somewhere between the level of Journey Guide or Conquest unit, while a character like Starkiller, Journey Guide, or Boba Fett, Sign of Django, Conquest can rival a Galactic Legend in their specific mode with the right squad. It is important to note that when we talk about counters to a squad, there are a ton of elements that need to be considered. The intent is that a counter to a squad should be roughly comparable in effort to unlock, but there are a ton of factors as to what is comparable. When we investigate a balance issue, team composition, mods, abilities, ultimates, gear, relic levels, and the consistency of the power of the counter all play a role in the final decision. We examine a number of different squad variations and we review the data on how all players mod these squads in order to get the best snapshot of the current balance players are experiencing. But the most effective squads with close to equal modding have the most weight in our decisions. On top of that, the win rate and reliability of these matchups are also important factors. A consistent counter is more likely to see changes than one is only sometimes possible. Okay. We also consider how to address those issues while supporting a healthy amount of theory crafting. It is important to strike a balance between encouraging creative uses for units and keeping the value of progressing to higher units intact. And there are a ton of other factors that modify this balance. Omicron versus not Omicron, stronger mods versus weaker mods, challenging a squad's less than ideal comp, does this squad encourage under-gearing or leveling abilities, and more. Also, a quick note about defense penetration. The changes last year to ignoring defense focused on units that completely bypass defense. Ignoring defense in its entirety was the core of the issue, and those changes allow us to explore the design space of defense as a meaningful value. While it is highly unlikely we will introduce a new character that ignores all defense, future characters may have defense penetration. We made these changes to allow for some counterplay between plus X% defense penetration and plus Y% defense, and so we can use these stats when designing new units. To reiterate, not every unit is going to fall nicely into these constraints, and we may release units that push the limits of these boundaries in the name of interesting gameplay, but I hope this provides some context for where future characters will land and where we may intervene for balance. As always, the team is committed to announcing any changes to units as early as possible and sharing the context for why the changes are necessary whenever we can. Omicron's reworked game modes and Conquest units have shifted the meta and the focus of many rosters, but our goals continue to be a long, healthy life to the game, transparency around upcoming changes, and most important of all, fun and diverse experience when playing with your collection of Star Wars ships and characters. Wrap up. I hope this State of the Galaxy gets you excited for the next era of units for Star Wars Galaxy of Hero and gives you some insight into how we plan to continue to shape the game for a long, fun future. Honestly, I feel like you didn't tell me too much. You went over like power ratings and stuff and told us that there's going to be some more ships coming out, and then you talked about the Inquisitorius faction. Like, we have no idea that it's out already. This was a terrible State of the Galaxy. What the heck? Anyway, while there are exciting new characters and modes coming, we also have several initiatives from last year to continue to push forward. The next phase of the gear intervention... Wait, what? Next phase? There was going to be another phase? I feel like what happened is already good enough. There's going to be another phase? Grand Arena update. That game mode sucks. If you're going to update it, you better overhaul it. Not update, you know, like kind of like a remaster and a remake. Don't just remaster it. Remake it. And the Omicron updates. You'll hear from Doja and myself in the upcoming road ahead that will cover these next phases for these changes in more detail. What is the next major title update and more. Thanks for listening, and I said see you. No, not quite yet. I'm just goofing. Okay, maybe not. I was saying that this is a crappy State of the Galaxy, but I was thinking the road ahead. The road ahead is the one that's detailed and lets you know a bunch of stuff. So, never mind. I guess this is good enough for a, for what it is. I was thinking road ahead. Good thing I put that here. It says Doja and myself. Who's myself? Is this Crumb? Written by Crumb. Yep. Huh. Well, yeah, that's a little goofy State of the Galaxy. It's nothing too special. I feel like you didn't learn anything, and the other stuff that they were telling you about, we already know, like the Night Sisters, or Second Sisters, I mean. But yeah, hopefully that road ahead comes pretty soon, because that'll be way more exciting. This is like the developer insights, and then the road ahead is the kit reveal. So until then, now I said see ya.